Hey, before we get into it, if you are here only for the large crown measurements, this is not where you want to start. However, if you skip ahead, you will miss all of the juicy, goody details I have to offer. But nonetheless, the decision is yours. The large crown measurements start at 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Catch you there. For all of those of you who stayed, congratulations, because we are going to go over all the reference points to measure on the monster, starting with the flat side and the tail. Okay, so he's always going to sit with one side pretty much straight up and down, and then the other side he's going to have his back leg kicked out. You want to measure on the side where he has it up and down. As for the tail, you go into stealth mode, start at the tip, count how many steps until you run into the box outline. I counted 6, probably 5.5, but just say 6. Another good indicator is the gap above your head from where his tail sort of is by his butt, but the deep groove in his hind leg on the flat side, and also where these rough scales are on his front arm at that elbow joint. Now I'm showing you this side because this is the side that's kicked out, and all the measurements are kind of off-kiltered on this side. The only thing that you can use is his front arm because it's pretty much parallel with the other arm, but that back leg groove you want to use on the flat side. Sometimes he's not on level ground, so it is difficult, and that is why I wanted to make this video, because I only found videos where people were distinguishing the sizes in the ancient forest. Now you can't control where you generate elder dragon investigations, but more so Kushala investigations. If you didn't know, elder dragons, getting investigations for them is painful enough, but you also don't have the luxury of being able to hunt multiple elder dragons in a single investigation. If there are multiple elder dragons, the other one is there just for that staged turf war. If you try to fight it and give it any breathing room whatsoever, it will just fly out of there like a bat out of hell the first chance it gets. But another place to measure here is the 90-degree bend underneath his leg, and then that hook on the back joint by his hind leg elbow. You can also size up where your head hits that. But we are going to load back into the same investigation. This is the rinse and repeat process that you guys have heard me mention in my other videos of crown sniping. That's what the term refers to. You load in, size up the monster. If it's not the right monster, you abandon the quest, turn right back around, and load back in, and rinse and repeat to your heart's content. Now, as I mentioned about not having the luxury for multiple elder dragons, a perfect example is how I got my large crown Black Diablos. I got that on a pink Wraithian investigation with silver, gold, 15-minute timer. But Black Diablos was not part of the investigation. He was just, or she was just, another monster on the map. All those investigations you see come from my other video of farming tempered monster investigations. I had 8 in total. I ran through 2 packets. I found Kushala on this attempt, so in my 3rd packet, all those other ones were just a giant waste of time, but it's what you're going to have to do to get enough investigations if you don't have the foresight to do so, and farm for these crowns. Now, if you didn't know, for tempered investigations, you need at least 3 reward boxes to generate a potential crown monster. That's just what I've heard. It's hearsay. I didn't try to prove it wrong by doing 2 reward box tempered investigations. I just wanted to get this over with, guys, because what I have to share with you is just out of this world. But for the rest of you tuning back in for these measurements, welcome back. Here is one that was not covered in the first mention for the regular size. We can see that hind leg, the 90-degree bend, but here's the tail. Okay, when he stops here, however close that tail gets to that rock face right there, that little lip, is another indicator of how big or small your monster is. And you can already tell just by me walking next to him that he is noticeably larger than that first one. Here's the 90-degree bend. The hair on my head just kind of touches it, but that hook on the back of his leg is the dead giveaway for me. So I'm just going to switch into my battle gear. Don't go anywhere because I'm not done measuring the guy. I will also show you the groove on his hind leg and the rough scales on his front elbow joint by his forearm, also the length of his tail. I'm just getting outfitted to engage the monster when that time comes. touching real quick back on that tempered monster investigation, if you didn't know, you will only generate tempered elder dragon investigations if you pick up tempered elder dragon tracks. Okay? Now, if you're picking up tracks from, let's say, the ancient forest, and it's a tempered Anjanath, you still have the possibility to create an investigation for a tempered Kushala in the ancient forest, but it could be any monster that spawns in the ancient forest, so your numbers are microscopic at best. More on that in a second, but let's get to these measurements real quick, guys. As you can see here, another dead giveaway, just coming up to that flat side, checking that the groove on his back leg. You can see it is well above my head, even with that little feather thing coming out of my helmet. Here is the tail measurement. Make sure you're in there. Count your steps. I counted 6 on the other monster, and we are going to count up 8 full steps for this guy. And then the last thing you'll see, which is just undoubtedly the large crown, is those rough scales stay above my head, where the smooth meets the rough, and that's what you want to look for on that front forearm. So I'm going to engage the monster now, guys, and I'm going to share with you my journey through this miserating, torturous endeavor that I put myself through to get this platinum trophy, and I'm glad it's over. This is the last crown I needed. You will watch as my trophy comes up for the Giant Crown Master, soon followed by my platinum trophy, and boy, let me tell you, I am going to set this game down for a long, probably permanent time. Just so you know where I'm coming from, started at 427 hours actively hunting crowns. Just from playing that amount of time, I started with 15 golden crowns. Okay, 15 golden crowns at 427 hours. Now, I use only the event quests that both guarantee and then the ones that increase the likelihood for giant and miniature crown monsters, and it still took me up to 484 hours before I was down to my last 2, which were Giant Kirin and Giant Kushala. Okay? But wait, it gets more profound. Okay? From 484 to the end of this battle right here, 561 hours. Okay, guys? That is 80 hours actively hunting for 2 crowns. I'm talking farming investigations, then running those investigations, crown sniping for 80 hours to find 2 crowns. Now, please do yourself a favor. Don't try to do this if you guys don't have the event quests available, unless you absolutely just adore the game and there's nothing wrong in your mind with pumping thousands of hours into a video game. It's just the advice I can give you guys. Going from 427 hours to the final of 561, just doing nothing but hunting crowns, I can't justify it in my own head, but I'm glad it's done. I am relieved that I was able to actually do it and not give up for the last 2. Kirin just, man, took so much out of me. But now, to sort of give you a better gauge, my #1 recommendation outside of event quests was to look for 15-minute investigations. Now, the only monsters that I did not get under those 2 conditions were the miniature Pookie, miniature Black Diablos, large Kirin, and large Kushala. And that is only because those 15-minute investigations are hard to come by, and I could not control finding them enough for these monsters. So I didn't come across any 15-minute Kushala that I can recall, as well as the Kirin and then that Black Diablos. You can refer to my video, but I found the large one almost immediately after finding my first 15-minute investigation for one. So, yeah, guys, if you don't have those event quests, man, save yourself the trouble. Just set the game down for a month, follow that Capcom calendar to see what's going to generate, what event quest is going to cycle through at what time, and then just grind it out when it comes available, guys. That's my best suggestion for you. Again, to each their own. But one last thing I wanted to actually mention was the trophy itself Says to record gold crowns for many monsters in your log that appear from either low rank or high rank investigations. Now I can safely say I didn't waste much time in low rank investigations because it is just a vicious cycle where you get nowhere. The only monster I recall is a large Kieran, but it turned out to be a silver crown. But with low rank investigations, guys, you load into one, you pick up tracks, you break monster parts, you slay the monster, you'll only ever generate low rank investigations, which, you know, your odds of finding crown monsters are almost obsolete. Now that being said, coupled with the Elder Dragon tempered investigations, don't rule them out, guys, take my word for it. They are easier to come by than normal investigations, but as you can see, there's my giant crown master. Platinum trophy soon followed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.